My name is Amy, and I'm going to be talking to you today about building an artist's portfolio site on WordPress. This is part of the New Hampshire WordPress meetup group, and I definitely urge you to join if WordPress is your thing or you're looking to get interested in WordPress. I will put the link in the description below so you can join up and maybe come join us in one of our meetings. So today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of building your artist portfolio site on WordPress and why you might be wanting to consider moving to this platform. This presentation shouldn't take very long. It's only about 15 to 16 minutes long, and we're going to go over some of the top things that are a reason why you may want to use this platform or you may not want to use this platform. So we're not going to go over every single detail, but we're just going to go over the major ones. So let's get started. Why make a portfolio? In this day and age, it's important to be in control of your own narrative, especially considering that places like Facebook and Twitter will use their own algorithms to determine whether or not your content fits their platform and whether they want to show them to other people. This can be detrimental to you because you might not be able to post a picture that you just drew and show it to all of the people you do want to show it to, regardless of whether or not they follow your account. So if you're looking to take on clients or to show people your new work or to potentially get some projects, go to gallery shows, something like that, you should definitely have a portfolio site. A portfolio site is very important for a professional artist to have because it is one of the spaces where you can actually be in full control of the display of your artwork and what and when it gets served to people. You will want to update it regularly and try to curate your very best work on the front page. I know it's really hard as an artist to kind of curate your work down to a few good pieces, but you're going to really have to try hard to do that. So here are a few portfolio pages that I've made for myself in the upper left-hand corner and a few other people. Some friends, some people that have hired us to make portfolio sites, and these are just some examples of some different portfolio sites, all of which are built on WordPress. So your biggest pro for building on WordPress is that you're going to have ultimate versatility to do and get the look and feel that you want. That is, there are some caveats to that, but if you are well versed in PHP, HTML, CSS, it's going to be really easy for you to build exactly what you want and have it look and feel exactly the way that you want it to present to other people. There are plenty of themes out there that you can use that are already built. There's certainly probably something that you'll really like out there. Thousands. There's literally hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of themes out there that you can try on and see what you like best, and then you can kind of work from there, or you can build your own entirely from nothing. There are also other ways that make this build easier, which are like the what you see is what you get builders, like Site Origin Page Builder, Divi, Elementor, and those all rely on like a drag and drop functionality where you can drag in widgets or blocks and that will give you something that looks exactly the way that you want it to. One of the biggest cons for building on WordPress that people are often say that they're worried about when I talk about artist portfolio sites is they go, gee, well, what happens if I get hacked? What happens to my site if, somebody comes in and they totally deface it or whatever? It is possible to have your WordPress site be hacked. In the same vein, it is possible to have your Squarespace site be hacked, somebody gain access to your account and deface your website. That is possible. But with WordPress and having a self-hosted WordPress installation, it's a little bit different because instead of having just the fear of somebody defacing your website, they could actually come in and they could insert malware into your site and redirect visitors to bad places, or maybe even collect your contact form submissions. There's all these variety of things that could happen if bad actors come onto your site. The biggest way to thwart this is simply to make sure that you're updating core, make sure that you're updating your plugins, make sure you're updating your themes, and make sure that you're using a reputable host, not GoDaddy, and that will take care of a lot of that for you. Additionally, you will want to take backups It's really easy to set up on WordPress that you can just pack up your whole site. You can have it automatically pack it up every week, every day, every month, however often you want to do it. And that's really invaluable because it gives you peace of mind that you can pull down your site and put it up somewhere else if you need to. Or if somebody comes in and they mess with your site, then you'll have a good fresh copy to work from. Then you don't have to start over from scratch. Another pro for building on WordPress is that you have search engine optimization control. On a lot of places like Squarespace or Wix or places like that, they can be lacking in a lot of areas when it comes to search engine optimization. It might be difficult to put in alt text or title text, meta descriptions, schema, open graph images, things like that. Just bits of data that you use to help signify to Google and other search engines that what you have on your site is this particular thing, and that will help you rank better in certain searches for that particular item. Sometimes places like Squarespace, Wix, they can kind of be missing these essential items or they just don't have them. When it comes to WordPress, you can really, the sky's the limit on this. You can really go all in on SEO and make the changes where they need to be. That's really great about WordPress. Another big complaint that I hear from people with WordPress is that they have a hard time getting things looking the way that they want it to be. WordPress is not what you see is what you get editor historically. But recently, in the last few years, WordPress has actually come into the space by introducing a new editor, a block editor called Gutenberg. So it does give you more of a what you see is what you get type interface. We're not all the way there, but we are getting there. WordPress is actually rolling out something called full site editing, which basically inserts the Gutenberg block editors into all facets of that site. It's still pretty new. I'm not very solid on it, but I'm sure as it progresses and as it comes to its next iteration, it's going to become really interesting and it's going to be really helpful for a lot of people who want that kind of what you see is what you get editing. In the past, it's been that you make a change to a site and then you go to preview it or you go to look at the actual live page and it looks completely different. This was definitely one of the problems with the classic editor, so you ended up having to finagle a lot in CSS and HTML to try and get things to look exactly right. Like trying to get two images to sit side by side with one another was pretty much really hard to do. But nowadays, with the Gutenberg editor, you can just set a column and you can put an image in one column and an image in the other column, or you can use a gallery block. There's a bunch of different ways that you can actually get the exact output that you want. Additionally, those page builders that we had mentioned before, like Site Origin and Divi, those are actually really helpful in this instance if you want a what you see is what you get editor, because Divi and Elementor and Page Builder, all those things, they are what you see is what you get editors, and they pretty much allow you to edit the page the way that it looks. A really great pro for WordPress is that you have complete control over your images and your content. So you don't have to worry about uploading your image to WordPress and WordPress completely compressing the absolute crap out of it and giving you something that just doesn't look like your artwork or the way that you wanted to present your artwork. We see this a lot in social media, where especially, if somebody's using an artwork that uses, say, a lot of red or a lot of orange, and they upload it and it gets compressed and it looks really terrible when it comes out, and then they're like, why did that happen? My artwork looked great and now it looks really crappy here on social media. With WordPress, you're pretty much kind of taking that out, that whole bit out there, because you can really be in control of what images get uploaded there. And if you're a not safe for work artist and you're, doing some sort of adult content, you don't have to worry about that getting taken down either. So you can actually showcase that content and not have to worry about, the Facebook rule police coming and knocking down your door. So definitely just make sure that you have a host that allows for that, allows for some sort of adult content like that. A lot of hosters don't really care, but just check the terms of service before you sign up for a hoster if you are producing not safe for work content. One con for building on WordPress is that because you fully own this, you own the code, you own everything in there, you're in charge of updating it. So once you install your WordPress site and you get it the way that you want it, you're in charge of doing maintenance on that platform. So you really need to make sure that you're staying up to date on WordPress core updates, plugin updates, theme updates, and PHP updates. PHP updates don't happen super often, and then after that, WordPress core updates don't happen super often either. But you are going to see plugins and themes that are constantly being updated, and you're going to want to make sure that you hop on to maintain those and you just update them. Make sure nothing's funky on your site, and then continue on as normal. It's a really good idea to do this at least once a month and maybe just make a schedule out of it, just because it's potentially bad to leave an unupdated plugin or theme running on your site in the off chance that there is some sort of lapse in the code that would allow a bad actor to come in, or maybe it breaks something in the future. You just don't really know. So you just want to make a habit of taking backups and updating your site from time to time. A pro for building on WordPress is that there's a plugin for everything. If you can think about it, there's probably a plugin out there that already exists. If you want to build a membership page, there's a plugin. You want an e-commerce shop, there's a plugin. You want to embed a Twitter feed, absolutely there's a plugin. There's so many plugins for every available thing you can think of to get the end result that you want. But conversely, that's also a con because a lot of people go, oh, great, there's a plugin for that. And then they load up their site with like 50 plugins that are just all doing random things. And maybe the plugins aren't vetted very well. And they're just like causing this major bloat onto these sites and they're just loading really slowly. Having all these things is both great, but at the same time, it's terrible because you're actually causing all of this pain to all your site visitors and the next person that maybe has to come in behind you and clean up all of these plugins. So you just want to make sure that you really need this plugin and that it's actually producing something worthwhile to you on your site. And if you're done using the plugin, if you don't use it anymore, you deactivate it and you uninstall it. You just want to make sure you clean up behind yourself. Another great pro for WordPress is that because WordPress is open source, there's actually a really big community of people that are just, helping to make WordPress better. And they've been helping to make WordPress better for a really long time. WordPress has like a good 40% of the platform share on the internet. Like that means that just about 40% of websites are all built on the WordPress platform, which is a massive amount of sites out there. And that means that a lot of people are using this and a lot of people are invested in seeing this succeed. That means that we're constantly seeing updates, we're constantly seeing upgrades, and, if there's like a security thing that comes out, it's usually getting patched out really quick. On the opposite side of that coin, because it's so easy to update and there's a lot of updates coming in, it can break sometimes. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can really easily break your site, especially if you're messing around with some of the advanced features like editing plugin code or theme code, and you could really break your site and you could, you're left with a white page and you're like, oh no, what did I do? So, I mean, doing a little bit of just a little tiny bit of research into making sure that you're using child themes, and you're taking backups to just to protect yourself is really important to understanding how the WordPress ecosystem works. Another pro for WordPress is because there's such a robust system of people that are really invested in seeing this succeed, it's really well documented. Trying to get an answer on how to do something is literally just going to Google and typing in the problem and then adding the word WordPress to it. It's actually that easy. So there are just articles and articles about like how to do, you're like, oh, how do I redirect a page in WordPress? How do I change the color of a font header in WordPress? How do I change my theme in WordPress? All of these things are really, really, really well documented. You'll see YouTube videos, you'll see blog posts, you'll see everything in the whole wide world just documenting step-by-step processes on how to fix it or how to do it. That's it. That's your major pros and cons for working in WordPress and building a portfolio page in WordPress, and why you should definitely consider WordPress as one of your major contenders for what to build in when you are building your portfolio site. If you have any questions regarding this presentation or just building a website in general, you can definitely shoot me an email at amy@hazop.com and I would be happy to answer them. That concludes our presentation for today. I wish you the very best of artist portfolio building. Until next time.